Today's guest is DJ Joune. Based in Salt Lake City, Utah, DJ Joune is the official DJ of Utah Jazz. If there's a vibe that needs to be set, this is the man to make it happen. Welcome, DJ Joune.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Welcome. We're excited to have you. You have quite a resume behind you, quite a story. So we're excited to get into it. Let's start back at the beginning. You grew up in Haiti, is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, I grew up in Haiti until I was 18. Did my high school there and everything, and I came to Utah for university, and I've been there since. So I came here in 2008. Yeah, so I've been there for what is it? Um, Wait, 13 years? Yeah, 13 years. So
Fantastic. You say on your bio you've been spinning though since you were 15. What's the difference between the music community in Haiti versus here in Utah?
um, what's different is the culture, and definitely, that's the biggest difference. But I see you have a piano thing next to you. That's actually how I started um, playing the piano first. That was how I got introduced to music, and that was the first instrument um, I was learning. Going to classes every week to learn, and I got my introduction to music, to melody, sound, and all that stuff. So I started pretty early. That was even way before DJing. I think we started when I was 8, something like that. Um, our family, all my siblings, we all played a different instrument. My older brother, he also played the piano. Um, One of my brothers, he played the saxophone, and I think my sister played the violin. So we all, it was part of our upbringing, music, and my mom always plays music in the house, uh, kind of like a regular thing. It's the TV is the radio was on more than the TV, so it would be like music all the time. Listening to what she likes when she was young and what's current and stuff like that. So piano was a thing, but at some point I realized I like piano, but I felt like I needed more freedom in my creativity. So and that led me to um, being able to play music freely, which kind of what DJing is. So, and I think that's what led me to being attracted to becoming a DJ. And once I realized um, how I can use different pieces of music just to create a vibe, and which you could do playing the piano, but with um, when you're DJ, you can read the crowd and immediately adapt to what's in front of you, and just and figure out what's gonna help elevate the mood, the vibe, or whatever is the objective of the night. So
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. What motivated you to, you grew up in this musical household, like you said,
Mhm.
you and all your siblings, you all played. Did somebody DJ for, profession or just for fun, or how did you first get introduced into DJing?
So it started with at my house. So my mom used to like we used to have birthday parties, and we had to used to have like just random parties at the house, and we would invite neighbors and friends. Just it's part of a culture. Just invite people over. We cook, and then we'll have music and we'll dance a little bit. And for some reason, I started being in charge of the music because I realized it's fun. People are dancing, people are having a good time, and if we have good music, it's gonna make the everything so much better. Um, so that's how I started, and I was like, okay, every time there's gonna be the next party, what new song can I get or download um, to make sure this party is gonna be legit? Because every time we would throw a party, next thing you know, people were asking me, "Hey, I heard about your party. What's fun?" Then I started realizing a big part of that was because we had good music and good food, but music also. So, so one of my neighbors, back then I studied on my computer. He had a software. It's called Virtual DJ.
Oh
I didn't
yeah.
have any equipment or anything like that. I didn't know anything about DJing. So he was like, "Yo, you could use this software and mix things together, mix songs together, so we don't have to play the whole song every time." So I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then the moment I said, "Oh, that's interesting," and that was it. I just kept, you know, learning and being a student. And then that's when I started attracting other DJs around me. And I met different DJs that were already, professional and well known. And I used to go to parties, just stand next to them and see how I can learn and how to do it, listen to their mixtapes and ask them questions, how they do certain things. And, just being curious. And I was like, okay, I love this, and my curiosity is very high. And now, how can I learn the skills to be able to um, be good for the next party where every time people come, they feel like, wow, the music is getting better and better and better. So, and then next thing you know, I was like, okay, maybe I should start looking for a name. So, and then my mom called me June from Junior, my dad's name. So I was like, yo, it's gonna be easy. It's just me. Just put a DJ in front of it, and people already call me by that name. So it's gonna be easy for me, people to just know who the DJ is and who I am as a person. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for DJ June. So it's been with me since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that story. It's a personal name then that you chose for your
Yeah, it's personal
your
name. It's
yeah.
yeah. I'm not. I couldn't find. I was looking for different names, to be honest, but I couldn't find anything that connected with me. And I was like, yo, DJ June is cool. Like
Yeah.
you can say it in French. You can say it because my first language is French from Haiti, and I speak Creole.
Oh,
But you can say it in any language. It's still gonna be good in Spanish, June. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow,
yeah.
that's interesting. So it's just the way I write it. It's that's how I would write it if I was writing French. But it sounds like June, like the month. So when someone like, how did you say your name? I'll say June, just like the month. So it's easy to say.
Yeah, it's a good name. We it's easy to say.
Easy to
We didn't
say,
have
yeah.
any trouble.
Yo, what's up, DJ June? Oh, what's up, June? So
Yeah, exactly. So it sounds like the connection then through the music to the people. You talked about reading the vibe of the audience and being able to adjust your sound based on
Mhm.
that. Is that, have you found that you can kind of speak to people, I guess, in a way through that? Is that I don't know. Walk us through your process of when you're on stage. How do you read the crowd?
So it's more. I'm not really speaking to anyone, but I'm connected with them, and I'm helping them express something that's inside of them already. So if someone, for example, if I play a song and that reminds them of something, then that's something, maybe a memory, or maybe a memory of someone else, or maybe something going on in their life. So that would be my job to find out who's around me and what tools and songs could I use to help people get to that position where they're having a good time, where people are moving their head like this, where people are dancing, where people say, oh wow, that's my song. You know what I mean? When people say things like that, it's because they can relate this song to something else. So as a DJ, what I mean by reading the crowd, I look around and I play songs to help me understand what's going on around me. For example, it could be a demographic reading. It could be, stuff like that. If am I doing like a day party or a night party? It's gonna bring different emotions, stuff like that. So it's being able to use music to communicate that way and connect with people is usually how I felt like, wow, people really like what I was doing because they felt something that I was able to bring out of them. So it's just using the music and the sound and connect that with all those emotions, because it's basically all about emotion. And as human in general, we always had music since day one. Music has been part of the planet forever. So it's just being able to bring those emotions and those memories is something unique.
Absolutely. I think that's like you said a few times, that's what makes the party, that
Yeah.
that and the food. But but I
Yeah,
but that
with the food. The food is a whole different subject, but it kind of does the same thing. So
yeah, yeah. So you came here to study in Utah. So you came to Utah. Did you know anybody from Utah when you moved over here?
no, I only had my brother here, and he was there 2 years prior I came. Um, but yeah, I didn't know anyone, and I didn't really care if I knew anyone or not. I just wanted to come here to study. In my head, I was gonna come back after, so it didn't really matter where if I knew anyone, because I knew, and I always had the confidence that with DJing, I would be able to meet people because I am doing the same thing, connecting. So being able to play music, but the challenge was letting people know that I am, or letting people know that I can DJ, so they can give me that opportunity was the biggest challenge.
Yeah, was that hard to network when you first came here since you didn't know anyone really?
Yeah, that's the other challenge. Like it's once you start DJing, people know you. It's easier. But when no one knows you, and then you just come from a way different world. I didn't know how things work in Salt Lake. I didn't know I didn't know much about Salt Lake at all. Like all I knew when we grew up, we used to go to the East Coast. I used to go to Florida. I used to go to New York, stuff like that. But I never came to Utah. Like I didn't know that it could be so different from like this country. Every state is so different, and I didn't have this concept in my head because coming from a small country, almost everybody knows everybody at some point because it's pretty small. If they don't know you, they'll know your cousin or they'll know your last name, something like that. But coming here is like I'm a little ant in the whole jungle, so it was very difficult. And what was hard also is because before I came here, I used to have events every weekend. I used to network. My phone used to ring almost 24/7. Hey, what's up? We need you for something. The moment I landed in Salt Lake, everything stopped.
Silence.
I'm like, wait, wait a minute. What's going on? I wasn't making any money. I had no friends. And that was a reality check. And that's when I realized DJing is something that I do, but that's not who I am. You know what I mean? It's just something that I do. So I had to learn how to separate those things. Because at some point I feel like, oh, if I'm not DJing, I'm not me. But that's not true. If I'm not DJing, it's because I don't have any events, period. I'm still me and I can still go around and do what I gotta do. So the challenge was also the language barrier, the culture barrier. Um, I when I moved here, I was in Provo for 4 months before I moved to Ogden to go to Weber State, um, and I didn't have a car, so I couldn't really go places. Um, I didn't understand how things work down close to BYU. Like parties were a little different, so all those challenges. But that's things you learn over time. And it's part of the journey. So.
I love that perspective. I love how you said an ant in the jungle. That's how you felt. I've grown up here my whole life, and so, but I can see what you're saying. Coming from a smaller country, a much smaller country than America. That's an interesting perspective. So you got here, and how did you become the official DJ for the Utah Jazz?
So it's the answer to that is consistency. That's it. That's all I can. That's if anyone asks me how did you, because every in your life there's always a chapter to something, but you gotta be consistent into. Because if I gave up when I got to Utah and saying, "Oh no one's calling me," I wouldn't be where I am today. So the answer to how did I get to where I am today is consistency and relentless, and having a passion for it and not giving up. Because there's so many times I feel like, damn, nothing is moving, and it feels like it feels forever. Like it feels like nothing is moving. Maybe a year or two, like nothing is moving. Like no one is really calling you, or you're trying to get your name out there, and then people don't really pay attention until something clicks. But it's definitely consistency. So that's how I am where I am today, and which is just a chapter of where I want to be moving forward.
Yeah. Well, you've clearly done many more events than just the Jazz. That's a big one. That's fun. Talk a little bit about what being the official DJ of the Jazz entails.
Well, it's very interesting. So, like I said, when I came to Utah, I didn't have a concept of the Jazz. The only time I heard about the Jazz were when they played Chicago Bulls and they were in the final. That's my only concept of the Jazz. But seriously, I'm not really a basketball fan like that. I play basketball, but I'm not a fan where I'm gonna watch every game. No, that's not me. I'm a fan of music. I'm a fan of other things. So when I got here, it's to connect to what we said in the beginning. My job is to connect with the fans. My job is to connect with the players and bring that emotion out of them. So that's what the job entails for me, in my opinion. So when I play something that the player can relate to, maybe that's going to help them play better. Maybe, I don't know for sure, but that's what my goal is. When a fan comes to the arena, if they, I want to bring some energy out of them so they can support what's going on. So that's what the job as a DJ in my lens. That's why I see I'm trying to do to elevate the environment. So when someone comes to the arena, they're like, "Yo, this is dope. I feel good. I'm excited to cheer for the team." And then the game starts. The energy is so much more because maybe a piece of song or something helped them get there.
That's fantastic. Everyone always knows that kind of energy that's curated at those games can make a difference. I think
Mhm.
that I think you're right on. Maybe it does help the players
Yeah,
and everything.
that's
So
maybe does help. Like music is always good. You always need music. You don't need silence and everything. But to go deeper than that, that's where I feel like, okay, how can I elevate the experience for both players and fans? So we, hopefully the team goes pretty far this year. So every time I go to the game, I'm always thinking, which song will be good this time? Who are we playing against, and what? And I also ask them what they want, of course. But in general, when I'm mixing things together, I want to understand what direction I want to go with everything I'm playing.
yeah, what an experience to be in the arena doing the DJ. That's fantastic. That sounds like a lot of fun. I've noticed on social media that you post a lot about like personal growth themes and everything like that. And you mentioned when you came here, you had that adjustment period. Consistency is what you had to learn to get on top of everything.
Mhm.
What are some methods you use to stay well-rounded as an individual?
Being grateful. That's number one. Seriously, every time I just think about where I was, maybe how many years I said I was here 13 years ago. I came here, I didn't know anyone, to where I'm at today. All I can say, I'm just grateful for every opportunity. I'm grateful for every day that I wake up. And I'm even more grateful to be able to inspire other people. So maybe someone else can see, um, can, find me somehow, and they're like, wow, this guy came from a different place and he's doing what he's doing today. And maybe that's going to inspire them to do the same as music. How can I bring the emotion or something that's already inside of you outside, so that can help someone else do what they need to do? So being grateful is the key, for me. Just being grateful and understanding, life is definitely a blessing.
That's awesome. Yeah, grateful. That makes sense. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's
I love
just
that.
big said. I don't even. This is what it is. Like, just being grateful, and I
Yeah,
just learned to appreciate everything. You know what I mean? Every
yeah.
second, every moment, and that's why I'm not complaining much when things don't go my way. I just know it's part of the process.
And life's much more enjoyable that way, right?
Exactly. So exactly, because things will happen. That's a fact. Things will happen to you. You plan things, they won't work out, and that's part of life. And the moment I got here, I learned this lesson, and then I realized, okay, this is part of life. I'm gonna have to adapt. I'm gonna have to get better. And when I realized that people are not hiring me, not because I'm not a good DJ, it's because they didn't know me, or I needed to put myself out there more. So it's my responsibility to let people know that I can do something. Now it's not, I can't put it on them to discover me like that. No. So then once I realized that, and then every opportunity I got, I was grateful and thankful for it. Even if it was two people or five, I didn't care. All I wanted to do is just put myself out there. And eventually you're gonna meet the good people, right people, and they're gonna push you and help you. And I can't. I'm not where I am today by myself. That's a fact. It's impossible. You gotta have a good team around you, and my
Yeah,
family supported me since day one.
yeah. It takes a village, right? That's the
Definitely.
saying. Yeah. So well, that's I like that a lot. I think that that's an important thing for well-being and yeah. So thanks for that point. So do you think, you said you started and people didn't, know you as much. Now clearly that's all changed. Now you have a reputation and you're known as a great DJ. Do you think being an artist, you have a social responsibility to your community?
I, in my opinion, I think so, because through my journey, I met different kind of people, different type of people, and I heard different stories. And at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want to be happy. We want to live a good life, and we don't want most of us don't want any trouble. Okay, so it kind of bothers me when I see a group is struggling, and 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 it's something that there's something that could be done about it. So if as an artist, people are listening to me and they like what I'm doing, I feel like it's part of my responsibility to also let them know, hey guys, I love you, but we also have a serious matter going on. Can we all um, do what we can to make it better? So when we're at the party, it's kind of like a party thing. I don't want a group standing over there and doing nothing. I want everybody to be enjoying the party. Kind of like life. Life is a big party. Why would you want a group suffering in the corner and then someone else is having a good time in the same party? That to me doesn't make sense. So why can we go ahead and talk to that group for a little bit and say, hey, what's going on? Why are you in the corner? Do you need something? Do you know anyone here? Come bring everybody to the circle so we can all have a good time. And there's a lot going on. And I feel like if we do that, our society and as a whole will benefit from it. And I don't see why not do it.
Yeah, and artists, typically have the means to give a little bit more exposure for those points. I think that's absolutely true. Um, yeah, I think that's fantastic. Is that something that's been important to you personally to be socially present?
Yeah, it's been important to me even before I got here. So when I grew up, especially in Haiti, there's two types of um, people, and it's either you have or you don't have at all. So growing up around those two, I understood that it's very you have to be very lucky to have the opportunity to come to a different country and having parents being able to support you and to be a DJ in high school and stuff like that. So I feel like I was very lucky and blessed. So in my opinion, I feel like, okay, if I have this opportunity, what can I do to help someone else? And that was always a question. What can I do to help someone else? You know what I mean? So it started early. My goals was to, open schools, stuff like that. When I came here, and then I realized that this country has a whole different set of, social problems that
Yeah,
I didn't really understand back there because it's a different demographic. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So then I realized, okay, it's the same question. What can I do? Because if I have all type of people that connects with me, and if I can be the bridge in between, I feel like I don't have a problem with that, and that's why now I'm also mentoring one student at the U. Um,
mm,
he's first ascent, so that means the first one in his family to go to school, to go to university, and just being able to mentor and give back. That's also my mindset. How can I give back to someone else? And then once I applied that to my business also, that's when my business took off. When someone calls me, my first question is, how can I help you? Because I'm here to help you. If I can help you and then you reward me with, whatever I ask, it's not even that money conversation is smooth because I'm here to help you. So,
I love that. I think that's the mentality of progression. I think that
mhm.
that's what we can do as a society to get better. To fix all these issues that we have. And I'm not as familiar with the issues in Haiti, as opposed to here. I actually haven't been to Haiti myself, but
Mhm.
I love that. What
Yeah.
are some of your goals going forward, with all of that?
My goal is moving forward is to keep growing. That's not the number one thing. When people ask me, do you have a job? I said, I don't have any job except to work with myself. Because if I'm growing, it will open up new opportunities for me. It would open up new ways of doing things so I can do things better. I will be able to help more people. I will be able to attract different, opportunities and maybe travel the world, something like that. There's no limit to this. You know what I mean? I want to be in movies. I want to do commercials. I'm also, into fashion and photo shoots, stuff like that. Now I'm working with the reopening of downtown since vaccine's going to come soon for everybody. So that's going to be a good opportunity. And I'm also working, how can I help restaurants and having a business background because, when you're a DJ, you're self-employed. People reach out to me and, hey, I'm going to open a business or I want to sell something. Do you have any advice? And I feel like, I always tell people I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I would do, or if there's anything similar to my experience, this is what I did and it helped me. And if that can help a lot of people, that's a fact. I'm gonna definitely do it.
That's awesome. Do you plan on staying in Utah for a while longer? Or?
I mean, I love Utah, but I love traveling also. I'm definitely gonna have maybe, you know, investment properties around here, which I already started doing. But as far as forever, ever, I don't. I think I'm at some point I want to be somewhere that's warm most of the year at some point.
Warm.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of like California-ish area maybe,
Yeah,
or
California or maybe just Caribbean islands or somewhere like that where it's usually warm and there's the beach and it's I can because it's at the end of the day almost everything is going to be online in the future anyway.
yeah.
So work from home is there to stay. So it's not going to be a problem working. And like I said, if I'm always looking to help someone else, there's always someone else to help, regardless where I go.
Yeah. So would you ever consider moving back to Haiti, or are you
I feel like
not?
my life is kind of like a chapter thing. I feel like my chapter in Haiti is not over, but I don't feel like I want to move back right now at this point of my life. I want to see what else is there. Like the world is a big place. Like I don't feel like I
Huge.
need to
Yeah.
be stuck in one spot forever, ever now. I want to travel the world and experience different stuff and connect with different people and learn different stories and keep growing in general. So I don't know where exactly I want to be, but I just know I want to be somewhere warm and wherever
Yeah.
that is. And when it shows up in my life, I hopefully I'll be ready to make that move.
Fantastic. What advice would you have for an artist who's just starting their journey into something like this, or maybe somebody who wants to become a professional DJ?
My number one advice is consistency. If you really want something, just know for a fact it's not gonna happen overnight. Period. But it's the work that you put every night that's gonna add up. It's not gonna happen overnight, but it's the work that you put every night that's gonna add up. When I started, my goal was not to just how much money I can make.
Yeah.
I started saying, oh, how can I make the party better? That's a whole different question. By
Yeah.
doing that, I realized I gotta get better. So when I got better, people started realizing, wow, this guy's good. And it's now when you come into business, it's supply and demand. The more people asking for your service, then you can ask for more money. And then you do market research, figure out what other people are charging, and then what do you bring on the table that's different, what's the value. And then at the end of the day, to be honest, there's no limit. You could charge whatever you want. If someone else out there might be willing to pay for it, but you have to have something to offer. So as an artist, and for example, if you're a singer or something like that, keep working on your craft. Keep working on your music, your lyrics. Keep putting things out there because someone's gonna listen to it, and eventually something's gonna happen. And my one of the major piece of advice is people usually give up when things are about to turn around for them. It's very hard when you're not making money in something and someone else telling you have to keep going. But I think it's harder to have regrets in the future than saying, "Oh my God, it's hard right now." Because I don't want any regrets saying, "Oh, I should have went harder. Oh, I should have kept giving my cards to everybody I see, or I should have thing like that." So I don't want those regrets for me. And if I was like, I got to do what I got to do, regardless how long it takes and whatever effort I got to put into it.
Well, that's fantastic. It seems like that's been going well for you now, and DJing. I assume that you want to DJ forever, really. Is that kind of true? Or?
Definitely. The question is why should I start doing something I enjoy doing? That's just simple as that. Regardless if I'm making money or not. For example, last year I didn't make that much money. There was not much going on. But did I quit DJing? No. Why would I do that? Because I've been there before. When I came here, I didn't know anyone and I didn't have anything going on. But I basically said, I've been there before. All I got to do is to keep working on myself. And once I do that, I will position myself to be the person that, for example, you're talking with today. Let's say I give up DJ. Would you be talking to me today? I don't think so. So
that's right.
so that's what I'm saying is that consistency and having trust in the process and always have a student mentality, always learning. I think I'm a pretty good DJ, but there's always room to learn. I'm always looking for ways to learn from someone else. Just like when I started, sometimes I just go out just to listen what people are doing and, take notes in my head and be like, okay, I see what he's done here. I can do this way. I can do it this way. I like what he did. And I just put it together in my own way. And then that helped me improve.
Yeah.
And then I think one more thing I wanted to say about the artist. The artist needs to understand there's being an artist part and also the business side of things. So sometimes the artist wants to be an artist. If you want to be just an artist, maybe you should have someone around you that's also has a business mind, but if you have both, you have to understand that. For example, if people are hiring you and they're making money from you, at some point you're going to be like, hey, how can I profit from my work also, and not just do things for free when it's clear that someone else is benefiting from you. You know what I mean? I did a lot of free things, but when it's clear someone's benefiting from what you have to provide, at some point you have to understand it's business also, and you need to have, for example, contracts.
Yeah. Because you should be profiting too. You should, you should be making your keep. I mean, it's a skill, it's a profession. You earn your way there.
I can't go to Moran and the University of Utah and say, hey, I need a surgery for free. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Good luck.
They'll take you, but after that, they'll send you that invoice.
Yeah, exactly. It's the value. And I like what you said a little earlier about creating that value. As artists, you create that value, and that's what connects you to the rest of the world. Well, we've loved having you on this show. It's been fantastic to get to talk to you a little bit more, and we would love to stay connected and maybe do this again to get an update someday. We think what you're doing is fantastic. I think you're a great DJ too. I've listened to some of your stuff, and
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Bowie, do you have any other questions at this time?
Yeah, actually I do. So I used to work at Guitar Center back, several years ago, and there's a DJ section, but a lot of people who I talked to didn't actually know what goes into being a DJ. Tell us a little bit about that, like the work what work it takes to be a DJ and what that entails.
To be a DJ, you when it comes to the DJ itself, without anything else attached to it, you have to stay in up to date with what's current, and you kind of have to go back into what's been good for the past maybe 10 years and understanding like the 80s, the 90s, even the 70s, depends who are you playing for. Always working on your skills, practicing. Networking is a major part of DJing. I remember countless night I used to just go out with my business card, and just pass it around. Everything I do, I always try to connect it with DJing. On social media, every time there was a new platform, I go there and quickly create a username so I can lock in my name. Network like crazy. I used to go to networking events where it's not even about music or anything else. It could be, for example, a networking event about real estate. But I would go there because I know people would go there too. And guess what? I would be the only DJ there. So everybody at that event would know one DJ, and that DJ would most likely be me. And at some point of life, someone's going to have a birthday party. Someone's going to have a wedding, someone's gonna have something going on. And who do you think they're gonna call? That one guy that had nothing to do with real estate that was there as a DJ. So that kind of gave me an advantage to some extent. Like, yeah, it's the networking part is very important because like I said, when I came here, I didn't know anyone. So I had to learn the skills, that skill of networking and understanding. Networking basically is just going out there and not being afraid to talk to people, period. I don't mind. I mean, I remember one time I looked on Google. I'm like, okay, businesses downtown Salt Lake City. And I called most of them on the phone. Hey, I know it's Christmas night. It's coming. I was wondering if you have a DJ for your Christmas event. See who's going to say yes or no. I have nothing to lose if they say no. What do I have to lose? But if they say yes, I booked one more event. Not being afraid to put yourself out there as a DJ is very important. And then on the side, at home, behind the scene, you're working on your skills, on your mixes, so things are clean. And then you create your own style also. You don't have to copy what everybody else is doing. You're learning from them, but you're not copying from them. Like, so.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks again. We really appreciate you being on. And like I said, we'll stay in touch and let us know if there's anything that we can ever do for you. We believe in the whole, we all win together type of thing. And if there's anything we can ever do to help you out, feel free to reach out anytime.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that. Hopefully, this conversation will inspire someone else. And then good luck on your new app coming up. I think that's a great idea, really good idea to find local artists and what they're doing and how people can support them, stuff like that. So, and I really appreciate you guys for doing that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Because when I came here, no one could have found me. But if you have an app like that, people would have been like, "Oh wow, there's a DJ there." So
that's true.
So I'm like, all right, thank you guys for coming with this now, but it's someone else going to benefit from it. So I think that's great.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate the support, and thanks again for being on this. It's been fantastic, and we'll stay in touch. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
We'll talk to you
soon.
Peace.
We'll see ya.